Crystal, what are you taking a look at?
Well, guys, in a matter of weeks, we have raced through the most stunning unmasking of the billionaire class that perhaps the world has ever witnessed. Elizabeth Holmes, the con woman at the center of the Theranos heist, which fleeced scores of elites and earned her girl boss billionaire acclaim, sentenced to 11 years in prison for defrauding her fancy, very serious investors. Elon Musk, richest man on the planet and supposed super genius, bringing Twitter to the brink of collapse through hubris and chaos in a matter of mere weeks. And Sam Bankman-Fried, the golden boy of crypto supposedly, and darling of the media and elite class, revealed to be an outright fraudster. Bernie Madoff in millennial tech bro casual attire. What's more, the unmasking of these billionaires has effectively served to unmask the entire elite class. The journalists, especially in the business press, who uncritically accepted these billionaires as geniuses, as innovators, as prophets, who vouched for them to the masses, affirming that their slot at the top of the meritocracy was more than earned. The investors and the bankers, who were tricked by the whole ruse, who lent them money, invested in their scams, allowed their supposed expertise and credentialing to serve as a marker of seriousness and of legitimacy. We were told that we were actually lucky that these geniuses had decided to devote their lives to world-changing good instead of just living thoughtlessly in the lap of luxury that they certainly deserve. But it's not enough to see the fakery and to see the distance between the legend and the reality of who these people actually are. It's really essential that we understand their myths and their ideology, because they are actually just the logical endpoint of the myths and the ideology that our entire society tells. We crafted and molded and shaped these people into what they are. And it's also essential we understand that that ideology which permeates our society and is brought to its radical conclusion by people like Sam Bankman-Fried and people like Elon Musk, that it is in fact an existential threat to democracy, to freedom, and to self-governance. Let me explain here, because fortunately for us, SBF, Musk, and others have made it extremely easy to understand what that ideology is, because they've laid it out in disturbing, excruciating detail through their cult-like philosophy called effective altruism. Now, this philosophy was funded in large part by SBF himself and has quite a significant following among the lords and would-be lords of Silicon Valley. Musk has said effective altruism closely matches his own philosophy. He's reportedly working with a philanthropic advisor who is tied into the community and frequently espouses views which sound a whole lot like the core tenets of the movement. Facebook co-founder Dustin Moskovitz, he is an adherent as well, and the money backing the movement is now into the tens, possibly hundreds of billions of dollars, reflecting its popularity among a subset of the very, very, very wealthy. So, what is effective altruism? It all sounds sort of benign to start with. The basic concept is you should devote your life to doing the greatest good for the greatest number of people, and that this end justifies many means. In the implementation of philosophy, though, you can see how it gets real bad real fast. They believe, for example, that it is not only okay, but actually the most noble use of your life to try to amass as large a fortune as possible in order to give to charitable causes. Now, this is obviously very convenient for the billionaire and aspiring billionaire class. Not only is it okay that they have incomprehensible levels of wealth while people around the world struggle and starve, it's actually good. It's actually noble. And since the ends justifies the means, the mandate to seek wealth could lead to justifying, for example, stealing billions in customer funds out of FTX brokerage accounts to add to your own personal bank account. After all, Sam Bankman-Fried, as one of the world's leading effective altruists, would know better than those peasants how to use funds in the best long-term interest of humanity. So, a few $1 billion of theft now is nothing in the grand scheme of humanity. Now, a particularly odd subset of effective altruists, including SBF, follow a belief in something called long-termism. Now, again, sounds kind of benign. The concept is that after amassing your grand fortune, you should deploy it to do the greatest good, not in the present, but when mapped out over 1 million years. Now, this also gets real bad real fast in actual practice. That calculus means that adherents focus on efforts like reducing by a tiny fraction the theoretical possible fate of AI, artificial intelligence, destroying all of humanity, instead of, for example, maybe alleviating famine or dealing with war or even climate change in the present day. So it not only justifies, but congratulates today's billionaire philosopher kings for ignoring present-day misery to keep their eyes on the prize of potential, possible, future societal collapse 1 million years in the future. And it bestows upon this group a prophet-like ability to foresee what the risk to humanity might be over that absurdly long time frame. Lo and behold, a bunch of tech bros with world historic egos and narcissism decided the most important threat to humanity happened to be in their sphere of expertise, AI, artificial intelligence, thereby once again putting themselves right at the center of the universe. You can hear echoes of this philosophy in Musk's Twitter takeover and his casual approach to the chaos and destruction there. As Fast Company noted, Musk's tweeted rationale for buying Twitter was, quote, "Because it is important to the future of civilization to have a common digital town square, I did it to try and help humanity, whom I love." They go on to speculate that it may have been long-termism, which would lead Musk to be able to casually fire thousands of people without guilt. After all, their present pain is nothing when compared to the grand sweep of 1,000,000 years of possible human future potential. More than a decade ago, Stanford Social Innovation Review said of effective altruism that it was an, quote, elitist philosophy, which amounted to little more than charitable imperialism, whereby my cause is just and yours is, to one degree or another, a waste of precious resources. Now, all of this sounds kind of esoteric, sounds a little fringe, sounds pretty radical, sounds pretty awful, but in fact, it's really pretty American. It's as American as apple pie. The latest spin on a view so commonplace as to be baked into our social fabric. A new story for us to tell about why evil acts are actually good. Why servitude from the masses at the hands of a great leader is actually just. And very, very conveniently, why billionaires should not really be taxed at all. After all, our national mythology for 40 years now has told us we live in a meritocracy where the best and the most innovative, they rise to the top, and they deserve the rich rewards that they earn because they are, in fact, superior to the masses. And if there's truth to that mythology, that our overclass deserves their riches, deserves their esteem, then it follows logically that we should defer to them on all human affairs, really. Which problems we should tackle, what resources should be devoted to them, which causes and people are worthy of time and attention, which people are just grist for the mill of their gloriousness. This is, after all, basically how we run our political system today. Sure, everybody gets a vote, but the real influence comes from the people who are able to buy access and lobbyists and funnel millions to political candidates and buy media coverage for their pet causes. The only way we allow this system to persist is because at bottom, our society is built on a lie that these people are actually better, that they are actually smarter, that they do actually know what's better for our interests than the common folk. If Bill Gates says Big Pharma gets to keep their vaccine patents, well then who are we to doubt him ultimately? If Sam Bankman-Fried wants to pick winners and losers in Democratic Party primaries, well he can. If Elon Musk wants to haphazardly careen the digital public square off a cliff, well who are we to stop him? And if Jeff Bezos wants to literally buy the Washington Post, why would we ever tell him no? Effective altruism is one more way of justifying why we should put our faith in the whims and the calculations of billionaires rather than lean into democracy, heavily tax their wealth, and allow citizens collectively to determine the greatest needs and interests of our society. It's a movement that justifies extreme wealth, confirms billionaires' self-perception as special masters of the universe, and provides a pseudo-moral justification for ignoring many harms and atrocities of the day, from famine to war to the climate crisis. It apparently can also be used to justify mass fraud to the tune of millions of dollars. And if that sounds familiar, it's because these elitist authoritarian impulses have literally been with us since the founding of the Republic. But seldom have we had such a front row seat to just how catastrophic it is when those forces win and the billionaires really get their way. Take a good hard look right now, because these emperors who we were told to put blind faith in have no clothes. Really has been a pretty stunning stretch. Not a good little period here for billionaires. Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Sagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us, and if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.